Hello and welcome to the Silver Screen Show, where we talk everything about movies, film and cinema. In tonight's episode we have a very special guest with us. Back again, Parama.
It's just the two of us
Well,
today.
it's the two of us. What's happened is
Be a little bit different,
our
so
other two colleagues have
ditched us.
pretty much, and it's back again the two of us doing the show. So as I was saying, tonight's episode is we're reviewing Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. We're reviewing Arrival, we're reviewing The Accountant. It's a jam-packed show, so without any further ado, let's get started. Parama, so why don't we start with Arrival?
Yeah.
One of the
most awaited
film, indeed. And in fact, Rotten Tomatoes had 100% rating on it.
Yeah, that's
for
true.
about 3 weeks before it changed to 93%.
I know. Yeah.
So why don't you start? Give us your review on it.
So, I'll leave you to discuss the plot, but I mean, just want to say it's a brilliant film. Amy Adams has outstanded her performance. It's really good. And I particularly enjoyed the sci-fi. Like, after a long time, it was real, it was emotional, it was it had a message. So
When's the last time you saw a sci-fi film?
That's a very good question. I have to see a lot of things which I don't normally watch for this show, so thanks to this show.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I liked the part, like how it started. It started with her daughter. She's a linguist.
It did.
And then,
in fact, before you go ahead, let me just give a quick synopsis of the plot.
Let the host
So
lead
what
the
happens
show.
is a mysterious spacecraft touches down on Earth, and the world leaders are deciding what to do with the aliens. And among all this, they bring in a linguist to try and see if she can decipher what the aliens are trying to communicate to us. And that's how the plot starts. They bring in a physicist. Jeremy Renner is a physicist. Amy Adams is the linguist.
A flirtatious one.
Well, they're actually really, I would say, quite realistic.
Yes.
Even though you pretty much expect when a man and woman are the leads in trying to communicate.
It's not cheap romance.
It's not cheap romance, is it?
Yes,
yeah, they do have genuine problem solving going on among everything, and you can see how they get closer and closer. So yeah, with the plot line in mind, did you think it was a good plot?
Yes, definitely. I have to agree. It was a great plot. Yeah, and I mean, like I was saying, the way it started was pretty emotional as well. I got connected.
So yeah, without spoiling much. So I think because this film is one definitely worth seeing, we'll not try and spoil the film for you.
I don't know if it's still running at the cinemas though. Yeah, because it's been a while. But
it has been a while, true.
So yeah, I mean, we won't give much spoilers.
Yeah, we won't do a spoiler review. Okay. So I thought the plot line was quite well done. The narrative, the way the narrative flows in the film is quite good, because it's not a linear plot. It goes back to how Christopher Nolan sometimes directs the film. And in fact, this film really reminded me of Inception sometimes.
Yeah, it's true.
Because it goes back, it goes back and forth in the narrative structure. And so that was one aspect I quite liked. Other than that, one thing I definitely have to say is the cinematography and the music in the film.
Brilliant graphics, isn't
it? If you're an audio and video connoisseur, this film is one to watch. And I'm going to call it now, this film will definitely get an Oscar nomination for cinematography.
Definitely.
And even probably could win it, having seen the other films in 2016.
True, definitely, yeah. So, I mean, just have to say, this is a film that is capable of winning the Oscars, like you said.
It probably is, yeah.
So, because even of the performances of the actors and everyone. Yeah.
Definitely. Acting was one of the things that really struck out to me, because a film like this is typically very dependent on the graphics work. Yeah. They try and bring in explosions. I'm thinking of typical Michael Bay films. Yeah. Explosions and alien fights, but this one was very grounded.
Very grounded.
It was more a suspense drama than an action thriller.
Definitely, yeah.
And
it started as a thriller, but I don't think it was more of a drama, wasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely was a drama. Don't go into the film expecting big explosions or like epic scenes happening. It was more, how are humans going to try and communicate with the aliens? So the whole film revolves around how do you communicate with species.
And how they skip time as well, like how she foresees And
Well,
like,
yeah,
I'm giving
that's
her a
one
little
thing.
bit
Yeah,
of
let's
plot.
not go into those
I
because
know, but the way, you know, she foresees future and the way she sees ahead of time and what she's going to be like.
well,
it's
yeah,
amazing.
let's not spoil much.
Well, what do you have
but
to say then? But yeah.
anyway,
fine. Yeah.
one thing that really struck out to me, again, as I was saying, was the pacing of the film. And the cinematography, along with the pacing, reminded me of a nature documentary rather than an action film.
Yeah, it's true. It's
I
so
kept
beautiful
thinking,
to watch, isn't it?
yeah, I
Yeah.
kept thinking if David Attenborough had done Planet Earth 3
Yeah.
with aliens coming in, he would have done something very similar
Something
to
very
this.
similar. True. Yeah.
Anyway, anything that struck out to you that wasn't good in the film?
I would say maybe, like you said, you asked me if I'm a fan of sci-fi. Yeah, but I mean, this is one film I cannot pick the bad parts because they've brought out sci-fi so wonderfully.
Yeah.
You know, it just fits
They
everything.
humanized all the aspects,
Yes.
and the
Yeah.
character was so well developed.
Character
You
was
really understood
well developed.
what their motivations were and how they.
It's true. Yeah, so I don't have much bad thing to say about this film.
One thing I
It's really
will
good.
say is, I thought Jeremy Renner's character was
Flirtatious
very.
scientist.
No. I would say he was very secondary, and
You think so?
yeah,
Okay.
he didn't really. There wasn't so much that he needed to do in the film for the narrative to progress.
Right.
And he
yeah.
could have, you could have easily done the same thing that Jeremy Renner did with
Yeah.
Amy Adams trying to solve those things.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Apart from that, I think, so Jeremy Renner played the typical female character, what
military
other
scientist.
films
Yeah,
you'd see,
yeah,
where the man would lead everything and the female character would really be there
Yeah.
to support.
Yeah.
In this case, the gender roles were reversed. And that
Yeah.
was another of the,
But this is how he equates his masculinity with science, right? I mean, he kind of balances it really well. Like
I wouldn't say there was
doesn't
anything
say-
around masculinity in this film. I
I mean,
thought it
that's
was,
the way he looks, he brings himself out.
you
isn't
think
it?
so?
Yeah.
Well, he's a very masculine guy
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
isn't he? I'm
So-
glad you picked that up. But yeah, like I was saying, with the gender reversal, one thing that I also liked was the fact that this whole film felt so refreshingly fresh.
Fresh.
Yeah, everything about it was fresh. The alien design, for example,
Yeah.
it's not the typical humanoid green man or like gray man with scary looks. It's completely different without spoiling what they look like. And I
True.
think we shouldn't spoil it because that's
What
one of
did
the
they
treats
call
in the
those
film.
aliens again?
Heptapods.
Heptapods.
Yeah, the aliens look completely alien.
They
They
do.
genuinely do look
It's
alien.
so real. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think all of this together, it comes down to one of the best sci-fi films I've seen in the last
Definitely.
5
Like
years
I
or
said,
so.
I'm not a big fan
Yeah.
of sci-fi, but I would choose this one.
I'm a
I'm
sucker for
given
sci-fi
choices.
films, so for
Yeah.
me
For you,
it
you
falls
can-
it falls in the same category
you
as
can conclude this is
District
the best.
9,
Right.
Edge of Tomorrow,
Uh-huh.
and this probably comes up top
Oh, that's
above
really
all
good,
three.
man. Yeah.
Anyway, so 3-word reviews.
My
Do you have one?
3-word reviews, like, it's got 1 adjective and 2 hyphen words.
Okay.
We always
Go ahead.
cheat for the 3-word review, so it's going to be mesmerizing sci-fi suspense drama. Yeah, because it's mesmerizing. It's just, you watch it and you just get lost in
Definitely
that world.
is, yeah.
It's a different
Some
world.
of the scenes
Kinda
where when they
takes you there.
first enter the alien ship, and I'm not spoiling anything because you can see it on the trailer.
Yeah.
When they first enter the alien ship and the way the camera
True,
pans with
yeah,
the
yeah.
music,
With the music.
it really gave me
It's like
goosebumps.
goosebumps,
It actually
isn't it?
gave me goosebumps.
It kind of takes you
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So it feels like you're in that
Definitely.
world. Yeah.
Well, for
It's
myself, I
very-
would say like this film is one to see. So my review, even though it's not 3-word, this is a film that deserves respect and admiration. And I genuinely hope that the director or the cinematographer or both, and even Amy Adams
sure they
maybe,
will, yeah.
hope they win an Oscar. Amy Adams is already in the talks for winning an Oscar in this one,
Right.
and it could very much
So are
easily
they
be.
nominated for this one?
Well, nominations haven't still come through.
Okay.
When they come through next year, I'm pretty sure they will get nominations.
Yeah, it deserves it. Yeah.
Right. On that note, let's move on to the next film. It's The Accountant. It's a film by Gavin O'Connor. It stars Ben Affleck and Anna Kendrick and, surprisingly, J.K. Simmons.
Yes.
So the film follows Ben Affleck, who's an accountant slash karate fighter slash a marksman slash literally
slash the
everything
main
really.
part, the main like, what should I say?
action man.
Action man, but I mean his main character in the film. What the film is about? What is it? He suffers.
Oh,
he's
so
an autistic
yeah. So
child,
as I was
right?
going to say, Ben
Yeah.
Affleck plays a an autistic child with.
What's the name again?
It's called Asperger's syndrome.
Yes.
So he's got Asperger's syndrome, and he's grown up now to be extremely good with anything mentally.
Mathematical.
Mathematical. Yeah, he can do
Yeah.
calculations on the go without calculators, and he can sort through 15 years of financial
15
statements
years,
in
10
one
years
night.
Of balance sheets,
Yeah.
Overnight.
So he's
Cool, isn't it?
he's an auditor's dream
True. Yeah.
employee.
You're
Quite
one actually.
something.
Shouldn't we relate ourselves because?
I mean, I definitely do relate to him
Accountant,
to some
mathematician,
extent.
yeah.
I mean, in one life I was an accountant, so I can see how the film plays around that. But
Exactly.
this film doesn't go too deep into the boring financial stuff. What it tries to show, at least tries to, is how the mind of like a savant almost works when it comes to financial crimes. So the synopsis again: Ben Affleck runs his own accountant shop. Yeah, he's Christian Wolf, and he is investigating. So what he does is he uncooks the books of companies rather than being the fraudulent cooking book accountant. He uncooks books. So some guy hires him, and he tries and figure out why their accounts don't match and where has all the money gone.
And mostly his clients are really dangerous.
Yeah, most of his clients are really dangerous. So that brings him to the attention of the Treasury Department, and they start investigating him as one of the subplots, one of the key subplots in the film. And as it happens, J.K. Simmons somehow ends up in the Treasury Department head or somewhere near the head. I still don't understand how J.K. Simmons got into this film.
I was gonna ask you after my review.
He's one of the top-notch, most respected actors here, and he's acting in one of the like the typical run-in-the-mill action film.
What's been done so badly in the film? So I'll come to that.
All right, fine. So anyway, I think we're going too long in the synopsis, and then so Ben Affleck gets called into a company trying to uncook their book, and Anna Kendrick is the accountant in that company, and she's trying to help Ben Affleck try and solve the problem with the books. And in the meantime, we have J.K. Simmons trying to figure out who this guy is, because he's a mystery. So I'll start with you. What did you think of?
Okay. Now going back to the casting, you know what I'm gonna say.
I think we all know.
Yes, because we've watched so many Ben Affleck films since we started this show, and I'm a diehard fan of Ben Affleck.
You definitely are a diehard fan of Ben Affleck.
But I won't be biased just because it's him who's acting. I mean, he's starring in the film. But I thought the film is really interesting. It's got his loopholes and it's got his negative points, but leaving all those aside, I thought it's a very deep, indulging, and it's like, you know, it keeps you captivated throughout the film. I wasn't bored at once. Like I really enjoyed every moment. I know you're going to shrug your shoulders, but let me just come to
no, please go ahead. Yeah.
So
I do agree with the fact that it was a deep film.
It was
even though the director, I think, couldn't manage to get it out to the
audience,
viewers that it should be a deep film. I can definitely see so many subplots trying to integrate, link to one another.
True.
It's trying to be a deep film, but
they tried, and I happen to be one of their target fans, his fans, and I like the film. Okay, let me start why I really liked it.
Please go.
So there are certain points. It's meant to be like you gave the synopsis. It's about fraud analysis, and he's an accountant who's trying to break cases and everything. He's trying to crack cases, catch the criminals, blah blah blah. Apart from that, I always look at the emotional side of the film. So how he was brought up. So as we said at the beginning, he's an autistic child who suffers from Asperger's syndrome, right? And most of the talented and intelligent people, they're not perfect. And this film shows that he's really talented. He can solve 10 years of balance sheets overnight.
And you can see he doesn't fit in with normal
He
society.
doesn't fit in, he starts to scare people just because he's different. That's what his dad told him when he was young, right? So his parents were scared. They split up because of him, so all those things, the trauma and the bad childhood that he had, that's really captivating. I think that's nice how they showed it.
And you think they did it successfully? How they showed it?
I would say 70% successfully. 70%. Yeah,
that's a fair safe play.
So they portrayed it really nicely. How he suffered, he was a disturbed child, but he grew up to be someone really different.
Yeah.
And then another emotional side which I picked was Anna Kendrick and his relation. It was very sweet. So he's different. He doesn't socialize with people, right? Because he's in his own world. But then again, he starts liking her. But then again, he removes himself from her. He tries to move away because he thinks she deserves a lot better. Like he thinks that she deserves someone normal.
In fact, one of the scenes I did like, and coming back to this,
when
was
they're
when
in the
they
hotel.
No, when they go for lunch, and they're both in the stairs.
In the stairs, and he doesn't know what to say, isn't it?
They're so
she's
similar.
Trying to make a conversation.
Exactly, they're so similar in their mindset that they're both outside the society.
Exactly.
They'll rather go sit in the stairs to have their lunch instead of going to the cafeteria.
I mean,
itself.
Anna Kendrick is a normal girl, but she connects with him because she's also like, you know, she doesn't want to socialize. So the way she likes him as well, and he likes her, but he is different. He thinks she deserves. So all these things are really nice and sweet in a film like this, and the whole story, how Medina, I mean, the investigator catches him. You know how they fit the puzzle, how you know that rhyme which he mumbles all the time. So it kind of falls into place, everything I want. So I really liked it. I liked it. I think it's a fair film to be liked.
Can you hear what I think?
Yes, I was just gonna. So I know your reviews are not that great about this film. So
no, I never said it's bad.
So what are the bad parts?
So
according to you,
the thing is, I have to really take myself back here because, you know, well, one of human beings' deep desires is to hear stories, and storytelling is one thing human beings like.
You think it was
and I mean, to that notion, this is a film not for humans, I would say.
For supernatural.
No, rather
people.
lesser.
Okay. Oh, okay. Let's just say.
The reason I say that is because, well, you see, there are just so many plot holes in the film. It's just riddled with plot holes.
I know what you're gonna say.
It's just riddled. I'm not even joking about it. Well, let me get to it. So
let's
how did
get to know
how
about
did Medina, the girl investigating him,
investigator,
even find him, right? You try and figure out how they found her. She went and talked with a guy in the Treasury Department trying to understand who earns above a certain amount of income and who owns accounting firms, etc., etc. And they somehow narrowed it down. But that doesn't mean he's the guy. There is no proof.
But the names of his shop and the laundry and all,
that doesn't mean
anything.
anything.
Money through those,
I can be an accountant with an accounting shop, and I can have several businesses. That is not a clue at all. Not even the slightest. No investigator in the right mind will conclude that is the reason. That is
it right, isn't it?
I mean, obviously they got it right. But would you say you had something like that? Would you tell your boss immediately that I got him, and then fly to Chicago, spend taxpayers' money, fly to bloody Chicago?
We have to think at the end of the day it's a film, and it's, you know.
No, I don't buy that. I am not buying that. You have Arrival, which is.
We would investigate further, and.
I mean, that's not the only thing. I mean, you had.
The brothers meeting.
No. I mean, I'm not even going there. You had things like the whole premise that the J.K. Simmons blackmails Medina to find Christian Wolf, only so that he has a reason to say, hey, you're worthy of taking my position to be the contact for Christian Wolf.
Yeah, because he's retiring anyway, isn't it?
How does that even make sense? How does someone being good at finding like a criminal make her justifiably the right person to be the contact? That doesn't even logically add. Yeah, that doesn't logically. There is no bridge that logically lets me go from one point to another. It's just ridiculous. And obviously,
go on. Yeah.
The sheer like ridiculousness, the bizarre two brothers meeting and then finding each other that he's my lost brother. Yeah, it's like Bollywood all over again. That finding his lost brother just because he sang a rhyme he remembered. It is beyond me. It really is beyond me.
The rhyme was a crucial part of the film.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. If I lose my brother and 50 years later I recognize him not because of his face, but because of a song we used to sing.
Drama.
No, it's just poor storytelling. That is what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying it's not
the father and son relationship, how he brought them up?
I mean, it was glossed over so easily. I thought that was one of the interesting areas.
It was, wasn't it?
You can see the motivation of Christian Wolf and how he was brought up. But I don't think it was just glossed over, so I don't think it was developed as well as it should have been. So my 3-word review for the film will be, even though it's an accounting film,
it's crazy,
my 3-word review is it doesn't add up.
Me being a mathematician myself,
Yes.
like I have even more reasons to like the film because I mean,
Okay.
even though my mental arithmetic is really crap, yeah,
I
I'm
will
good
say
at
they-
applicable mathematics.
They did have
and-
some like
yeah,
quirky chuckles here and there with,
Wasn't it?
you know, when
yeah.
Christian Wolff is changing his name and the girl, the voice,
Yeah.
asked him, what name do you want? And he's
Yeah.
always picking a mathematician's name.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
and
that
she
was fun,
asked,
isn't
do you
it?
want Boole or
Gaussian.
Babbage?
It just
Yeah.
took me back to my university.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, Gaussian elimination.
Yeah. And Christian Wolff says, you know it will be Boole, not
yeah,
Babbage.
yeah, exactly.
So,
So I
it was
liked it.
fun.
I liked those things. I could relate myself to it. Yeah,
So your
because I
three-word
love
review.
numbers. Yeah. So yeah, my 3-word review is gonna be crazy because it is crazy. I have to admit, you know, this is a crazy plot. Crazy yet indulging.
Crazy yet indulging.
Yeah.
That's an
I got
interesting take.
indulged. Yeah.
That's great. Let's move on to our next film. It is
Ooh,
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Find them.
It is one of the better
Prequels.
films I've
Yeah.
seen this year,
Hmm.
and it's probably one of the good Harry Potter,
Harry
films,
Potter
if you're a
films.
Potter
So
fan.
J.K. Rowling. Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, J.K. Rowling wrote the screenplay of it, as far as I
Yes.
know.
So it's a prequel to.
It
it's
really is a
considered to
prequel.
be
So
a
what
prequel,
happens is
isn't it? Yeah, let's go through the
we're
synopsis.
taken back 70 years
Mhm.
before the Harry Potter
Harry
films
Potter
happens.
happened, yeah.
And it follows the adventures of someone called Newt Scamander. I can never Scamander. Newt Scamander.
Newt Scamander,
I don't know
maybe.
who came up with that name, but that's the name. And it follows his adventures as he goes to the U.S. So he's a British guy. He goes to the U.S.
Mhm.
and he goes to U.S. with a briefcase full of
Mhm.
crazy animals, magical creatures.
Magical creatures.
And he loses the
It's
creatures
amazing, yeah.
in New York, and
And they're so
all
like,
shenanigans happen from then on.
all the stuff starts happening
So
from there.
I really like the premise, and I
Yes.
think the very light nature of how
Mhm.
the film is carried
Mhm.
is really a plus for the film. And
Yeah.
this film is clearly aimed at children and
I wouldn't say so.
youngsters or
yeah,
Potter
well,
fans. I mean,
youngsters, we can.
sometimes you cannot
We
differentiate
belong to
between
that
the
group,
two,
so
but
that's fine.
yeah.
But not for children, I would say, because I enjoyed it a lot. I love Harry Potter. I watched all the films. Like I love the Harry Potter series. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I still prefer Harry Potter more than this, but I enjoyed it. It's a family film. I think it's really nice. Yeah.
So what would you say are the good part about the film?
First of all, I'll start with the actor, Eddie Redmayne. I
Okay.
think he's great.
Oh, actually, yeah, we should definitely mention the film stars Eddie
Yeah.
Redmayne,
Yeah.
Catherine Waterston, Alison Sudor, and it's directed by David Yates.
Yeah. So about Eddie Redmayne, I just wanted to say that there was this other film which came out, The Danish Girl.
Danish girl, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, completely different roles he's played. And over there, he looked like an adult,
Mhm.
right? I mean, he's an older
I mean,
guy.
he's
in
an
that.
adult, yeah.
No, in this film, he looks like he's a 12-year-old boy. I mean, seriously.
Okay.
It's like, look-wise, I'm saying, he can pull off every character he plays. That's what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say.
No, he
So
did win an Oscar for a reason. I mean,
Yeah, he's a young boy, actually.
Yeah.
He's really young. But he played the role of a man in that film,
Yeah.
and which was brilliant.
as well as a woman.
Yeah, as well as a woman. So
Yeah.
I mean, he can pull off any character. Give it to him, and he can just play it. Yeah, he just
But
excels
go on. So
in
what
it.
did you like about Eddie Redmayne and the
yeah.
film about
So
this?
Eddie, the way it's hilarious. I mean, what's that fat man? Sorry, don't want to be don't want to be judgmental.
Oh,
but
the comic relief
the
in
comic
the film.
relief. Yeah,
Yeah,
what-
let's just call him the comic relief.
Comic
For the
relief.
love of me,
yeah,
I can't
because
remember
I watched this film. This was the first film that I watched among the three. So he was amazing. I mean, the way. Should I give a little bit of plot? A little bit.
Let's
yeah.
not spoil too much, but yeah, we
Okay.
can give
So,
some.
like you said, he loses one of his magical creatures, right?
Yeah.
And how that creature just spoils everything for that man,
Yeah.
and how their briefcases get exchanged. You know,
Yes.
so it's so good. I mean, we can give a little bit out to the audience. So it's that guy, that comic relief guy, is a baker. So he wants to, do something like great in bakery business, right?
Yeah.
So he has all these delicious bakery items inside that
Croissants,
briefcase. Yeah, croissants and Danish swirls or whatever. Yeah, so he's got all those. And then on the other hand, the other guy, Eddie Redmayne, yeah, he's got the same briefcase, but with magical creatures in it,
Yeah.
and then it
So
gets
it swaps
exchanged.
and-
It swaps. So this is a very high point of the film. So this is how it starts, and how that guy hates the creatures at the beginning because
Yeah.
they create like havoc, like menace
for
him,
good
right?
reasons as well,
For good
huh?
reasons. But then again, like they go inside that world with full of magical creatures, and he falls in love with the creatures.
Yeah,
And and then
definitely.
different characters come out. What's that name of the girl, the investigator? I mean, the one witch. was
Let's
it?
just call her the Aura. I can't remember the
Yeah.
character name. on it.
Okay, so I
But
think it's Catherine Waterson. She
That,
played
that's the
played the role.
actual person.
so the actual person. So Catherine Waterson and the relationship of Catherine Waterson and Eddie new guy, that was really sweet as well.
Yeah.
You know how they cooperated and what was I saying? Oh yeah, then she has a sister, which I think we discussed about. You like, what is she doing in that film?
Yeah.
You're gonna. Come
Yeah,
to
to be
that,
honest,
right?
as much as I
sister's
like Harry
beautiful,
Potter
but
films, I mean, who doesn't like Harry Potter films?
Yeah.
I thought this film was. It had some good points, some bad points, and the good parts were really good.
Yeah.
The bad parts were surprisingly bad.
Yeah.
Because
Like the sister, she didn't have much role to play.
yeah,
So-
not just that. I thought the characters were pretty typecast.
Okay.
So the comic relief is just that comic relief guy. The
Mhm.
comic relief will have a love interest.
Mhm.
Newt will have a love interest, even
Mhm.
though they have zero chemistry between them. They'll
Yeah.
still fall in love. She'll be like jumping around because she's got butterflies in her, her stomach.
She's
the,
like
the thing
the
is,
dumb blonde. She fits that perfectly. Like
mm,
she's not too dumb because she
no,
kind of
she
helps
isn't.
them.
Yeah.
No, she helps them solve
Yeah, in
a
fact,
lot of things.
she does a
Yeah.
lot. She carries
She
the
does a
plot
lot.
around a lot.
She
I
does.
wouldn't say she's a dumb blonde at all.
Yeah, but she shows that at the beginning she's just a beautiful girl who doesn't know much, but then it shows how her character develops
Yeah.
in the film.
I mean,
So-
one of the things I really disliked about the film is the fact that you had two plots going simultaneously. One around Newt Scamander losing his magical creatures in New York and how he tries to find them.
Okay.
The other is the magical society and how they're trying to catch one of a criminal who's really wreaking havoc
Yeah.
throughout the world.
Yeah.
So
What do
the
you
magical
think about
world.
the villain?
I thought the villain was weak.
That was weak, isn't
Yeah.
it? That little boy.
Yeah, let's not ruin who the
Okay.
villain is.
We'll
I'm
look it
sure
up.
many people
But
still
Colin
want to see
Farrell
it.
was brilliant, I think.
Colin
as
Farrell
a-
was brilliant.
as
In
a
fact, I
villain.
would say the
Yeah.
best parts about the film were Colin Farrell and Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah.
I think they both did their part really well.
I like Colin Farrell is my first. Actually, I like him more than Ben Affleck. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. So I find it hard to see him in negative roles, but he did it well. Yeah.
No, he does his
He
part
does
really well.
every part really well.
Yeah, I mean, you knew from the beginning Colin Farrell wasn't the right good guy because
Yeah, you could tell.
you could tell.
Yeah.
But the way that plot revolves along with Newt Scamander's magical creatures and how they try and relate them together, I thought was very forced,
was a
and
bit
it did
vague.
need to be done that way. And besides, can I please bring up the plot holes in the film and the
Yeah.
coincidences, the fortunate coincidences? How the hell would why in the God's name would someone give away such a fortunate plot device in between? So I'm talking about when the main villain, the
Okay.
main villain,
Main
is
villain.
revealed
Yeah.
when Newt Scamander goes and tries to save the girl,
Yeah.
and she's dying, and she sees her memories.
Oh yeah.
And
she
of
goes
all
back
the
to past,
memories,
yeah.
Newt Scamander sees the memory of the villain. Why? Like, it is such a fortunate plot device that
Yeah.
it really shouldn't
I
be
get
there.
what you're trying to say.
Yeah. So those were some of the bad things, and the other really poor thing I
Cliche?
thought was the very cliched thing were none of the men really had any. They really couldn't stand beside a woman and keep strong knees. They were like weak in the knees whenever they saw a woman. And
It's
I
J.K.
understand
Rowling
why-
got that romance
yeah,
thing,
probably.
isn't it,
I
a
understand
little bit,
why
yeah,
they were
so.
doing that, probably because of children and they'll laugh.
Children, they like
But-
it, fantasies.
Yeah,
and
but
love
you
and
still have children's
fairy
films like
tales.
Zootopia or Toy
Yeah,
Story, which have
amazing.
such
Yeah.
deep themes in between them.
True.
And I thought they could have mishmashed it better.
The comic relief guy falls for the beautiful sister, right?
Yeah.
Who didn't have much at the beginning to do, and then she helps them, and then at
Yeah.
the end his memory gets erased. That's what I hate. I was like, oh, this is so typical. This is
Yeah.
cliched. I mean, why?
Anyway, I think we've talked enough about this. This is a great film.
Well, I mean,
so what's your
it's not at the cinemas anyway, so people will know about it. I mean, most
people will
have-
people
the
will.
story. So I'm just giving it away.
What's
Yeah.
your 3-word review then?
So when it comes to J.K. Rowling, we know she's the master when it comes to fantasies and magic. So my 3-word review revolves around that. So it's a magical fantasy drama.
It's a very succinct one.
straightforward, yeah.
I would say, even though it was a, so I'll have to say, start by saying this is a Potter film, and Potter fans will know what to expect,
Yeah.
and Potter fans will love it no matter what.
Okay.
But if I'm looking at it from the perspective of an independent and objective movie reviewer, I would say it's a very generic thriller.
So is
there-
that your 3-word review?
Yeah, I would say it's a generic thriller. There really
generic
wasn't
thriller.
anything there that stood out to me that is different
Okay.
from what is being done.
Individual
You had
opinion, yeah.
Miss Peregrine's Children this year coming out, which was very similar. You had, well, any fantasy film is very similar. So I thought it was a generic thriller.
Right.
But with that said, let's go to what's coming up next month.
Our
And we
preview
have
section.
the previews now. So
Yeah.
we have some big films.
block- For you, Star Wars.
Well, biggest for anyone, if
No,
I'm
no,
being
no,
honest.
that's
It's not just
true,
me.
yeah.
Any man, woman, or children.
I think mostly men, yeah. They love Star
I
Wars.
wouldn't be so
Exactly,
quick
I
to
was never a
judge.
Star Wars fan, but I'll definitely watch it. The trailer looks fantastic.
Trailer looks
Yeah.
great, doesn't it?
It does.
And very weirdly, I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer. It's got Donnie Yen in it. Do you
I
know
didn't
Donnie Yen?
notice.
Donnie Yen is. Have you seen Ip Man? He is one of the
Yes.
Chinese martial arts.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Donnie
okay.
Yen is the guy who plays Ip Man, and I was
Right.
laughing when I saw Donnie Yen played in.
Is he one of the main leads in the film?
I don't know what role he plays, but he's in
Okay.
the spacecraft, and
Right.
he's wearing some strange costume, and I was just laughing. I couldn't take it anymore. And Mads Mikkelsen is there.
Right.
He typically plays the villain,
Good
so I don't
casting,
know if
isn't
he'll
it?
be the villain.
Forrest
Forrest Whitaker is there.
Yeah,
Forrest Whitaker, you
Forrest
never go
Whitaker.
wrong with Forrest Whitaker, one of the
Mhm.
great actors of our times. What did you think of the trailer?
I liked
Are
it.
you excited?
Yeah, I'll watch it.
You'll definitely
Yeah.
watch the film.
I'll watch it, yeah.
So Rogue One is coming out on 14th of December.
Mhm.
I don't even need to tell you, we're all going to watch it.
Yeah.
Next up is Passengers.
I love the trailer.
Passengers.
I loved it.
The trailer, anyone watching it will like it, especially people our age. It's got
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence, it's got Chris
Jen-
Pratt. It's got the biggest
Like
name in...
Hottest
the biggest names,
celebrities.
hottest celebrities.
Very good looking couple. And
Very good looking people.
Yeah, and the story is very nice as well, you know how it starts, the trailer.
Well, the trailer looks nice. I don't know what the
Yeah.
story will be like. There
Yeah,
seems to
they
be a
don't
bit of
give away
suspense
much of
going
the
on.
story,
Yeah, I'm
but
not going to give
This is
away
how,
much
like,
either.
You know, they're in a different world, they're not in Earth.
I mean,
right?
they're on a
Yeah.
spaceship,
On
and
the
that
spaceship,
really,
yeah.
one
they're
thing
on
that
a
really
spaceship,
intrigues
then
me is,
away from the Earth.
one thing that
And
really
then-
intrigues me is how films in recent days, since really Gravity and Interstellar and all those films, there's so many space films coming up these days.
Yeah, loads.
Yeah, so I suppose that's a
I
trend.
like the scene where he asks her out, like, through the robot.
Oh yeah, it's quite
Yeah.
cheesy, but I suppose
Cheesy, but yeah.
wins a
Girls
girl's
like it.
heart.
Girls
It wins
like
a girl's
cheesy stuff.
heart. Anyway, Passengers comes out on the 21st of December. Hope
Yeah.
we all get to watch it. And next up is Moana, the
Moana,
film
which
that's coming
comes
out.
out today.
Actually,
It's
yeah,
out today.
It's out
Yeah.
today in the UK, and it stars Dwayne Johnson,
Yeah.
Mr. The Rock, and new addition to the
To the
Hollywood universe.
family.
Yeah,
What's her name
girl,
again? She's a
I
new
can't
girl.
remember. Yeah,
Let me just say, I saw the trailer, and in the trailer, there are loads of trailers, right, for this film.
Yeah.
So in one of them, I've seen this girl is no celebrity. She's just a local native girl from Hawaii.
from Hawaii. Yeah,
And how
I
she
saw
got
that as well.
casted. Did
Actually,
you see
yeah,
that
and she was so
one? How
excited.
got
Her mother's so
casted for
happy.
the voice of
Yeah.
the Moana, and her mom was super excited. She's
Yeah.
just a normal housewife, I think. Like
So the
she's
film has
excited.
already come
Yeah.
out in the US,
Scandal.
and it's
Yeah.
got great reviews. In fact, it's being called one of the best Disney films. It's by Disney,
Yeah.
and if that's anything to if that goes to show anything, this film will probably be very good. And
It
Disney
looks
has
beautiful. The whole
80 years worth
scenario.
of experience in making great film for
Definitely.
families.
kind of reminds me of the film Crude. Did you watch it?
The Crude, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Was that a Disney film as well? I don't remember.
I can't remember if it was.
Pixar, Disney, I'm not sure, but I mean, the Stone Age people. So I mean, those kind of. It's got the same vibe, yeah.
Yeah, it
But
definitely does.
Moana definitely looks.
Anyway,
better.
Moana looks to be good. Did you know this film? The film is based 3,000 years ago.
Yeah. Well.
So
the review says so, yeah.
I'm quite excited about that. I'm sure there will be some mythical element to it.
Yeah.
And that'll be great.
Stone Age, isn't it?
Yes. Well, not yet Stone Age. It'll be
Maybe.
Iron Age.
Iron Age,
Iron Age. History lesson there. Anyway, that really wraps up for our show. Glad that you joined us, and hope you join us again for the next show. It's it from Parama and myself, Mo. Hope to see you in the next episode. Thanks very much.
Bye.